Hello everyone, Tommy here, and welcome back to my playthrough of Final Fantasy II. This is episode 2. In this episode, we have a lot to talk about, so we're going to dive right in and start discussing a few things. I wanted first to try to make kind of like a timeline, whether this came either before Final Fantasy I, like a prequel, or if it came after Final Fantasy I, like a sequel. And I've mentioned in a few of my videos before that I think the key to finding out the real answer there is mithril and also airships, right? We learned that in Final Fantasy I, airships practically don't exist, or at least not anymore. They used to in the past, maybe at least 400 years ago when the Lufenians had their technology and they had their floating cities and they were at the height of their empire before the Fiend of Wind, Tiamat, came and wiped them out, right? They had the Levistones and they used those to help their airships fly around, which is great. And then also there's the fact that mithril was a little bit more commonplace as well. We learned that when we go to Elfheim and we talk to the elves about mithril. They tell us they tell us to try it out because it's so effective. It's makes such good pieces of equipment. Funny enough, they don't actually sell mithril in Elfheim, but we find it in many places all over the world pretty much after that. In Final Fantasy II, however, mithril is something that we don't really have. It's not until the Empire recently comes in and takes control over Summit Falls that the Empire starts using mithril. That's one of the reasons why Finn was able to fall so easily. Also, we were betrayed. So anyway, coming back here to Finn and talking to the king will reveal some of this information. He does also tell you that Scott proposed to Hilda, but he never really got an answer from her. He says that he would make a fine husband for her, or would have anyway. He did pass away. But yeah, if you ask him about mithril, he says that mithril was commonly in use once long ago, which would kind of tell you that, since mithril was more commonplace in Final Fantasy I, that maybe this game came after Final Fantasy I, right? Maybe this game is referring to back then. So I would have to say that with this newfound information, that it seems like this game takes place afterwards, but there's also the fact of airships being around. And one theory could be that maybe they kind of use the technology of the airship that we did find in Final Fantasy I to kind of recreate a design and get airships moving again, like how we see in Final Fantasy II. They're commonplace. They fly right over our heads. They're talking about building something called the Dreadnaught, which is a very large airship. Sorry, I tend to just sit there and do nothing when I'm talking about stuff like this, but I kind of wanted to talk about that because it's important if we're looking into the lore of this game. Did it take place after Final Fantasy I or before? I would have to say that I think it took place after, but there's also Cid. Let me turn counters off here. There's also Cid to talk about, right? Because in Final Fantasy I, we learned that Cid was a Lufenian, or a Sky People. He was one of the Sky People, and he helped them build their airships. He was responsible for inventing the airships, as far as we know. And I believe in this game it's the same thing too. Cid doesn't just fly airships. He doesn't just own one to ferry people around. He actually invented them for the Empire. And I don't think they saw eye to eye on a few things, and that's why he doesn't really work for them quite anymore, or maybe he does. Anyway, so as far as I know, Final Fantasy II takes place after the events of Final Fantasy I. The last thing I would want to clear up about things is probably the world map. Although when we do get an airship, it seems like we can just kind of fly around the world and that this is it. However, we know from playing Final Fantasy games that there are other dimensions. I mean, we could say that maybe so many years have passed that the face of the continents actually change, and that's why the world map looks a little bit different. There's many different theories that we could explore as far as that goes. When you first walk into Cornelia, the first town in Final Fantasy 1, we learn that it's called the City of Dreams. Is there a theory maybe that all of Final Fantasy 1 is basically just a dream? Maybe it could be. Who knows? Anyway, enough of that. We're going to go back into the main storyline of the game. I've been talking for 5 minutes now. And we want to help Joseph. He talks about... He's definitely lying when he says that he hasn't found any leads. He tells us that a bunch of people from Salamand who are being forced to work... There's a bunch of people from Salamand who are being forced to work in the cave at Summit Falls. Rescue them and we'll talk. And we learn that Summit Falls also has the Mithril, so it sounds like they took the men from this village and essentially turned them into slaves. Why Joseph isn't among them, I don't know. He's kind of a monk. Maybe he punched one of the Imperial soldiers in the face or something like that. That could be. I have no gil, which is fine. Anyway, next I'm going to show you guys where to go. So we want to go to Summit Falls to free these slaves so that way we can obtain the Mithril for ourselves and start getting some Mithril weapons and armor for the rebel army to help combat the Empire. And that's where we're at right now. We also learned that, is it Captain Borgin? Captain Borgin, I think it was. He used to work for the king of Finn. This is Summit Falls right here, by the way. It's not too far, just kind of around the loop there. Anyway, so he used to work for the king, but it sounds like he got a better deal from the Empire, so he sold them out, and that's one of the reasons why they lost so bad. That and the Mithril. It sounds like we would have actually had a fair fight against the Empire had it not been for these couple of things. And we're just going to keep going through the cave here and see if we can help these people. I don't really need to show any battles here, just kind of the same thing. If you're trying to build your characters, just whatever it is that you do in battle the most is whatever's going to go up the most. In order for your MP to go up, you got to use quite a significant amount of it, which is helpful later on. As you can see, I have Blizzard 3 now, or Blizzard level 3, I should say. And every time it gains a level, it goes up by 1 MP. So it's 3 MP to cast that now. So as long as I use that, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times in the same battle, she should get even more MP. I also went ahead and got her a cure because there's nothing wrong with her casting a little bit of white magic as well. Whereas Furion, I'm going to have him just use just white magic and that's it. And he's not even going to really use that much of it. Guy or Gus, whatever you want to call this guy, he's just going to punch things in the face. Nothing's really changed about that. I want to say that this is probably a big chunk of mithril just poking out of the ground right there. In any event, I'm going to kind of skip through some of the battles here. Okay, I think there was some gil in here, not too bad. I'm just up here in the upper corner of the map. I just kind of wanted to show that if you are really serious about the magic and wanting to level up, cast it literally every single time. Even if she doesn't buck it off, there's still a chance that her intelligence and magic and stuff like that will go up. And also we want to inch closer and closer to like Blizzard 4 and stuff like that. So always cast if you're serious about your mages and wanting them to have the highest MP possible, the highest damage output possible with magic. You always want them to be casting. Another thing to keep in mind, just kind of like something that Final Fantasy 2 doesn't tell you. The ultimate magic in this game is called Ultima. If you've played some other Final Fantasy titles before, you'll be familiar with Ultima. It's a really big, massive, just destructive spell. However, one thing that Final Fantasy 2 does not tell you, and this kind of didn't really ruin my first playthrough, but it was kind of like a meh. Like, meh, darn it. They don't tell you that Maria's strength does not need to go up. That Ultima in this game is white magic. So it's not going to scale very well with your intelligence or your black magic user. It's going to scale better with, I believe, spirit, which should go up as long as you're casting white magic. Let me see if I can kind of show you the status screen for that. So she has intellect, but there's also a stat for spirit, which is right above intellect right there. And it's really hard to get to go up for some reason. Minwoo, as you can see, has no problem with spirit. But yeah, you'll want to cast white magic and see if you can get that spirit up there as high as possible, because I think the damage of it scales off of that spirit. So when I first played this game, I thought for sure that Ultima was black magic. I immediately taught it to Maria and started leveling it up, and wouldn't you know it, it just wasn't very effective. So that's something to keep in mind. You're going to want somebody good at white magic as well as black magic, and that's why I have both going. Of course, you're going to want the white magic for heals and defensive spells and stuff like that as well, so it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Okay, so we're on the second floor now, or B2 maybe? B1 perhaps? I can't remember what this one's called. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about how, like, is it really necessary for you to grind this early on in the game? Really, honestly, no, it's not. The enemies aren't very tough. They don't have very high HP. They don't hit very hard. And as you can see, I can make very short work out of just about anything coming my way. So grinding isn't super duper necessary, at least not yet. The game does increase in difficulty, especially if you go back to the OG NES or Famicom versions. It's much more difficult. So let's keep moving on. I'm going to show you the map and show you where I'm going to end up. We got like 4 secret doors right there, a couple treasure chests. I'm going to grab those treasure chests and we'll meet up there at those 4 doors. Okay, and then real quick, I wanted to show the weapon skills. You guys might have noticed that none of these bars seem to be going up or down no matter how many battles I go through, and that's because I think that it kind of comes to a cap at some point. Like, Furion's swords are going to be level 6, which is kind of cool. Guy, I have like some heavier gear on him, and I'm kind of thinking that that's what makes him a little bit slower, so he doesn't normally get to even have a chance to attack or anything like that, and I think that's why he's kind of stuck at a 3. Also, hand-to-hand might be a little bit slower to level up than swords, perhaps. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the idea is for you to kind of get through the game and start battling some tougher monsters a little bit. Furion's going to get some agility right there. Maria's going to get some things that aren't going to help her very much. And hey, Guy's going to get some stats as well. It's almost like you get to level up after every battle, you know, is what it feels like. It's kind of fun. And then I just wanted to show, because I've been casting Blizzard, the bar on Blizzard is going up, but very, very slowly. Like I said, you really, really have to grind your spells. Even in the Pixel Remaster version, you really got to grind the heck out of these spells to get them to level up. Okay. Anyway, we're going to keep going up this way, and this is where these 4 doors are that I promised you guys. I promised you guys some doors, and now here they are. Ooh, these guys are trying to self-destruct me. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see what they tried to do to me? I just can't stand for that. Okay, now we got 4 doors. Which one we go into? You know what? Honestly, I can't remember. Let's just take it from the top here. Door number 1 looks like it leads downstairs, so that's probably the correct door. Let's try door number 2. Leads to an empty room. Now, I think in these empty rooms you can find some enemies that you wouldn't normally find outside, and that's why we're all of a sudden encountering green slimes. They're much similar to the slimes that we find in Final Fantasy 1, where magic is the way to go, just like that. Furion is going to get quite a bit of strength, actually. Let's check him out really quick. His strength is 20. He has higher strength than Guy. For some reason, his strength just won't stop going up. It seems to go up so often. So, not even a treasure box out of all these 4 rooms. Only one was the correct door, which is this one. So we're going to end up going down to B3, basement 3. In this treasure chest, I just found 200 gil. Where am I at? Well, I came from the upper right-hand corner, and I'm just kind of grabbing up some treasure chests along the way here. Looks like we have another 4-door type thing here, so we'll find out what doors are what. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and turn encounters off right here. Just for a second while we take a quick looky around. Got another chest full of some gil. Nothing really any over here at all. Let's check some of these doors. Let's check this one that's all by itself. Nothing in there whatsoever. We'll check the next door. Nothing in there whatsoever. Let's check this door. Nope. Nada. So both times for both rooms, we want to head to the left, the far left door. And we're going to end up here. It looks like we found the men that we were looking for that have been turned into slaves to mine mithril. So I haven't been super focused on it, but I had Maria cast a few rounds of Blizzard in the last battle. I think she did about 4 or 5 times. And this is kind of where she ends up ending up with. So that's, what, a 12 MP increase, which is very nice. A little bit of intelligence, some more magic. Her damage is going to be very, very nice once we build her up all the way. Once we get a little bit further in the game and learn some more powerful spells. Anyway, big deal, right? Onward to the task at hand. There's an NPC in this room that looks familiar. Help us, please. Help us, please. Guess that's all they say. And over here, it looks like we have Paul. Remember Paul? He was the thief we met back in Altair. Firion, it's you. Am I ever glad you're here. This is Joseph's daughter, Nellie. I think that dastardly Borgen's been holding her hostage to threaten Joseph. How come Joseph wouldn't tell me about his daughter? Don't you think he would say something about that? Princess Hilda told you to bring her back some mithril, right? Well, that's normally where I step in. I figured out that this is where the mithril was coming from easy enough. So I thought I'd get the jump on you guys and nab the mithril before you could even get here. Only I messed up and got caught. Me, of all people. So that means I turned you into a slave too, Paul? That's not good, man. Well, I know I'm in over my head. So long. But don't worry. I'll take everyone here with me. Thanks for saving us. I owe you one. No problem, Paul. You might be a dirty thief, but you're a good guy, and you're a good guy deep down inside. He really just wants what's best for Hilda and for the rebellion. He doesn't want to see everything and everybody fall to the Empire. And that is not the end of the dungeon. If you guys thought that was the end of the dungeon, you were wrong. Let's check out some more of these treasure chests. We got a fire tomb in there. That's kind of nice. I wasn't really planning on using this spell, but since you're going to so graciously give it to me for free, I might as well use it. Even though I see on the map that there's no chest down here, I kind of just have a weird habit of checking anyway. Nope, nothing there, nothing there. We do have this door right here, which has nothing in there as well. And yeah, this dungeon's just a little bit bigger than what I thought it was going to be. And where we're going to want to go is down here, which is going to lead us to B5, basement 5. Kind of a larger dungeon here. We got 2 doors right out of the gate. Let's check the one on the right first. Looks like it's going to lead us to Jack. Let's check the next one right here. And we have some kind of a bad guy. Some sort of an evil villain, a foe. Heh, rebels. Never thought I'd have to deal with your kind down here. Well, if you think you're getting mithril, you'd be right. My mithril blade straight through your heart. He doesn't really do the laugh, but I thought I'd add that in. So it's going to play some boss music here. That's kind of wicked, right? Let's go ahead and cast some Protect on ourselves. Let's give him a good Blizzard. Let's give him a nice warm welcome from the rebel army. I don't think this guy's really all that tough. How tough could he be? Gee could take him. Come on, Gee. Ooh. Okay. Okay, he wants to hit me pretty hard there. Let's give him another blizzard, right? I think that was kind of the most effective thing. And I think Protect 5 would probably override Furion's Protect 1. One thing that's kind of cool to note too is that about every 3 levels your animation increases. As you can see, my Blizzard 3 is kind of like an ice explosion rather than some icicles coming up from the ground. And it just gets bigger and bigger as you go. About, like I said, about every 3 levels it'll change. It'll change animations there, if you will. So this dude, as you can see, has very high physical defense. Unless you punch him in the mouth. Then he can't really defend against that. Let's fast forward him turning into ashes and dying. And Maria's Blizzard leveled up. Yay! Blizzard 4. Furion's going to get a little bit of magic there, a little bit of an MP increase. Maria's going to get some much needed MP, a little bit more magic. Good stuff. Okay, now I don't know what happens after I grab that treasure chest. I don't know if it's just going to throw me out of the game, throw me out of this whole dungeon. I don't want to leave the dungeon yet though, right? Because there's still a treasure box way over there, and a whole nother door too that we haven't even looked in. So far we've been striking out. Most of the rooms in this particular dungeon are just empty. But we might as well take a look anyway, right? Yeah, nothing in there. So let's go ahead and open up this treasure chest. It's going to be monsters. Fortunately for me, it's a land turtle. And I believe that they are very, very weak to ice. Because our physical attackers aren't really going to do much to him. And that actually did level up Gee's hands. Now, what's the point of leveling up their skills, right? This is not Final Fantasy 11. I think teleport is white magic, right? So I'm going to teach that to Furion. This is not Final Fantasy 11, and what I mean by that is we're not going to learn any weapon skills. We're not going to be able to do any like Savage Blade or anything cool like that, or Asuran Fists or anything like that. But it does increase the number of attacks you get to land on enemies, which is ultimately going to increase your damage. I think your accuracy is also a factor. Let's open this up, and we're going to get mithril inside the treasure chest. We're not going to have to mine it out of the walls. We're going to find some mithril that somebody's stuck in a treasure chest. So that's kind of nice. I always think to go right behind that waterfall, only to learn that I've been fooled. So we do have a teleport spell. Let's try it out. Now this does teleport you out of dungeons, but at the cost of your hit points. As you can see, Furion took almost all of his health from that. Which is okay, that's not the end of the world. Anyway, so we got the mithril. Let's go head back to Joseph and talk to him. So here we are back in Salamand. I just kind of wanted to show that now that I have Gil, I can actually afford some of the spells and stuff like that. Reduces MP when used in battle. So I think this is kind of like Rasp from Final Fantasy VI. It just kind of sounds like it does MP damage. I'm not too excited about that. One thing that I'm excited about though is life. Don't forget the life spell. And warp isn't going to be super useful, I don't think. I don't think I'm ever really going to use it. It's more important if you're not doing a playthrough like how I'm doing. I'm mostly kind of doing like a walkthrough and then stopping to talk about any lore as well. So I think my videos are very beginner friendly. So anyway, that's why I kind of turned the encounters off. But if you are trying to do like a challenge type thing, then yeah, you'll probably want warp. Anyway, it looks like we returned his daughter that he didn't mention to me at all. You'd better get that mithril back to Altair. Prince Hilda is waiting for you. Prince Hilda? Whoops, my bad. It's Princess Hilda. Anyway, let's do... Since he doesn't seem to have any additional dialogue for me, let's go ahead and do exactly that. And everybody in the village are super happy. They pretty much either say the same thing that Joseph told us, or they just thank us for saving everybody. Our husbands are back safe and sound. Yes, they are. Here's another one. There's no way to cross the snow on foot. You'll need a snowcraft. I've heard that Joseph keeps his snowcraft hidden on the first floor of the cavern at Summit Falls. I seem to remember him saying something about a wall near a blue stone, or something like that. There's another one here. Take the mithril to Altair and give it to the princess as soon as you can. So anyway, I don't think that you can get that snowcraft without Joseph helping you, which is going to be very, very soon. Once we get the mithril back to Hilda, she's going to take Minwu back, and we're going to be left with only 3 party members, which is fine. Sorry, I think I've checked all these shops anyway. Anyway, which is fine, because we're going to get Joseph on our team, and we don't know the context as to why we want the snowcraft yet, or why we would want to go up north, but I think we're going to learn that very soon. So I'm going to do a quick save, and I will meet you guys back in Altair to deliver the mithril. Okay, and kind of like I was showing in the first video, you can just walk back. There is no need to spend all your hard-earned gil on transportation and stuff like that. Of course, if you have encounters on, it might be a little bit more annoying to come all the way back. But you're going to spend all this money on an airship, you're going to spend all this money on the boat and all this stuff when you can just walk back here. You don't have to do all of that. Plus, fighting all the enemies is going to help you get gil, which you need for spells and stuff like that. Okay, so should I take it straight to Tabul, or should I actually come and talk to Hilda? I don't know. Let's find out. The Empire suffered heavy losses. The Empire also suffered heavy losses at the Battle of Fen. They're building the Dreadnaught. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I have the mithril, though. Please lose no time in bringing back the mithril. Okay, I don't think we talked to her. I think we bring this directly to the blacksmith. And that's going to be nice, because now we're going to be able to buy mithril armor. We're going to be able to buy mithril weapons. We're bringing mithril back to the world of Final Fantasy. Here he is now. Ask him about the mithril. And we do have items. Oh, I guess I could have tried giving the mithril to Hilda. Ho ho, that's mithril. I've been waiting for the chance to work this metal for as long as I could remember. All right. Leave the rest to me. Swords, armor, you name it. I'll start crafting. It's been too long since I let my hammer ring. And ring it does. You can buy the equipment I made over at the shop counter. This will keep my hands full, I'll tell you that. Nice. So he's pretty excited to get back to work, or to work on something new anyway. If we talk to this guy, we just get the same old stuff. But if we talk to the new guy, we get to take a look at some mithril stuff, which is not cheap. Not cheap at all. Thankfully, I have Guy just using fists, so we don't really need to worry about his weapons. But we do want a mithril sword for Furion. At least one for now. As you can see, it's very, very good. The attack damage goes up quite significantly. You're going to want to have 2 of these if you're dual wielding like me. Altair is going to be... Everything's going to be taken over by the Empire, kid. Come on. You really have hope? Get rid of that hope. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to do something about that. Okay, now we're here, and we can buy all of this stuff too. Mithril helmet, mithril armor, mithril gloves. As you guys can see, I'm very broke, so I'm going to have to go and actually stop skipping battles and stop turning my encounters off. And I'm actually going to have my encounters on. Let's talk to Gordon real quick, see if he says anything different. So, you really found some mithril. You're certainly brave, I'll give you that. Next to you, I realize just how pathetic I am. Oh, come on, man. What about the Dreadnaught? Now you're off to destroy the Dreadnaught? There has to be something I can do. If only I were half as strong as you. Man, you can't keep thinking like that. That's half of why Kashwan fell. I mean, think about it. As soon as you start talking like that, you lose hope. Anyway, there's a lot of NPCs here. Let's see what they have to say. They say Borgans replaced the Dark Knight as commander. Replaced the Dark Knight as commander in Basque. There was a Dark Knight commander? That's something to keep in mind. Keep in mind that there was a Dark Knight commander in Bafsk. Bafsk. I have a hard time saying that. I think anybody does. I made my way here as soon as I learned of the rebel army. I mean to fight the Empire. Blow that Dreadnaught to smithereens. It looks like we've gained some support from some people. Some people who actually believe in the cause. If the Dreadnaught is complete, it will unleash horror the scale of which the world has never known. Please, you must not allow this to happen. I'm going to join the rebel army and fight the Empire too. So Bafsk was under the control of the Dark Knight. He used hypnosis to manipulate the minds of the town people. Huh. The Dark Knight used hypnosis to manipulate the minds of the town people. Let's keep that in mind. Keep some of this stuff in mind. This character right here is actually a little bit interesting, right? He kind of reminds me of one of the 12 sages. He says, yes, I can see it now. A great evil in the skies like rolling storm clouds. Pray you find cover when the storm breaks. That's interesting because it seems as though he's like prophesizing what's going to happen next, which he kind of got it wrong a little bit, but he does not only share a character design sprite, if you will, with the 12 sages, but he seems to kind of know stuff like the 12 sages would. If the Empire is able to complete the Dreadnaught, then Elterpoft, all will be lost. Okay, yeah, we know that. Okay, let's talk to Hilda really quick. The Dark Knight overseeing the Dreadnaught's construction was most capable. I don't remember. Did we hear about the Dreadnaught before pretty much just now? I mean, I'm trying to think back, and I don't remember any NPCs talking about him. He just kind of randomly started coming up in conversations. Fortunately for us, he's tending to other matters now. The theft of the Mithril has likely knocked the Empire off balance. I would like you to journey to Bafsk. If we're to stop the Dreadnaught from being completed, this may be our only chance. We have a man in Bafsk. He's found a way to reach the Dreadnaught. I want you to destroy it. At the very least, find a way to delay its completion. I have full confidence that you and Minwu on this, but with you and Minwu on this task, it will be accomplished. It will be accomplished. Sorry, I should have a girly voice for her. Okay. Do you guys have anything to say? We're counting on you to destroy the Dreadnaught. They mustn't be allowed to finish it. So, did they give us any clue? They just told us they want us to go to Bafsk. But we know that going to Bafsk is not enough. At least I know that. So who should we talk to? Let's see. We still have Minwu in our team as well. Let's talk to Gordon, because Gordon is somebody who's going to be important very soon. He doesn't really say anything different about anything, though, does he? Okay. Yep, they sure are. Okay, so I don't have any other dialogue or anything that's really leading me anywhere other than Bafsk. So we're gonna head there. Okay. Let's turn encounters off. I did a little bit of grinding, and I was able to afford another mithril sword, some other mithril gear for my team. Couldn't afford everything, but hey, whatever, that's okay. We'll probably find the rest of it as we go along the game. We'll find some treasure boxes, or we'll earn some gil and come back, whatever it might be. But for right now, we want to get to Bafsk. Blah. We want to get to blah. So how do we get there? Well, you could wander around like a dork like me, or you could just come right here to... Sorry, I missed it. This is Palum? Is that right? Oh, this is Poft. Okay, you want to come to Poft. And you want to talk to Sid, or at least Sid's attendant or whatever. I don't think there's anything else you can ask him. No. Okay, so talk to Sid's dude, and he'll tell you that he can give you a ride He can actually give you a ride to Bafsk for only 100 gil. Now that is a deal. And this will show you right where it's at on the world map in case you don't know. But yeah, if you hire the airship, it'll be right here, just like before, I think. I think we did this before. And yeah, it's just right across the water here. That's why it was so cheap. But that's one way to find it. Anyway, as you can see in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, we have the Dreadnaught. That's the Dreadnaught right there. And we have slaves that are under some sort of mind control that are being forced to work on this thing. Let's talk to the citizens here and see what they have to say. You'll need a pass to board the Dreadnaught. You're with the rebels, right? You've got to destroy that Dreadnaught. There's a rebel spy masquerading as an Imperial soldier. If you can get to him, I'm sure he'll have some important information for you. If we talk to one of these guys, what happens? When is the Dark Knight coming back? At this rate, we're all going to fall behind in schedule for sure. It sounds like whoever the Dark Knight is more effective than Captain Borgen. Oh, speaking of Captain Borgen, there he is right there. Get back to work. I swear, no one wants to work under General Borgen. Oh, I guess he's General Borgen. Okay, whoops. They're making us work like slaves. I hate that Borgen. Being used by a man like that really makes my blood boil. It's weird though. I can't seem to remember what things were like when the Dark Knight was in command. Well, right, that makes sense, right? Because the Dark Knight was kind of controlling their minds, so maybe they would have some sort of fuzziness to their memories once they snap out of that mind control, right? Without him being here, they don't have that mind control anymore. Which is weird, because they're all still helping. I guess they're afraid of getting killed by these soldiers, though, too, so that's kind of some incentive. I don't feel like working at all with that buffoon Borgen in charge. The thought of doing anything for his precious glory makes me sick to my stomach. Okay, so we're all in agreement that this Borgen guy is bad news, right? General Borgen is not dealing with these peasants as he should be. Well, that's the only good thing about this, right? General Borgen took command of things in Bafsk a short while ago. Things have gotten much easier than they were under the Dark Knight. It's hard to believe a bumbling idiot like Borgen could become a general in the Imperial Army. Oops, you didn't hear that. Okay, this is our contact. I think somebody just a second ago talked about how we have a contact who's disguised as an Imperial soldier. That is our contact. But before we do that, let's check out some of the shops here. What's going to be really useful here? There's Basuna and Esuna. And Basuna cures ailments that wear off after battle, so they're gonna, as far as I'm concerned, they wear off after battle anyway. Who really cares? You're really gonna want Esuna, if I'm pronouncing it right. Isuna? I don't know. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But this is the one you want because it cures ailments. Cures status ailments when used in battle. Well, we should be able to use it after battle too. Oh, also, I always kind of forget to do this, but if you are short on money, you can always sell your junk. We don't need long swords anymore. Not that anything is really worth a lot, right? But I don't use those at all. A couple broadswords we could sell off. We don't use axes, we could sell that. Staves are kind of useless, right? And that will allow us to get the Asuna Tomb for all the rest of my money. And we're just going to take that spell and teach it to Furion. There you go. There you go. Bingo. Okay, let's actually talk to Captain Borgen now. Or General Borgen, excuse me. What's this? Back to work. Work, I say. If we finish even one day sooner, my glory will be exponentially higher. Okay. So, not much we can do there. Let's go ahead and talk to our contact. He's going to say the same thing, right? And we want to tell him Wild Rose. Aha! You're one of us. I had to be careful about what I did while the Dark Knight was here looking over my shoulder, but the great General Borgin is anything but. He's just a domineering blowhard. Okay, let's ask him about the Dreadnaught. So you're the ones they sent to destroy the Dreadnaught. Don't worry, I'm on your side. There's an entrance to the sewers up ahead. It's a back way leading to the Dreadnaught. Be careful. If they see us talking, they may start to get suspicious, so I'm out of here. Good luck. Thanks, buddy. I don't know who that was. Was that Paul, maybe? Who's dressed up like the... Just a random rebel guy? I don't know. Just a random guy that works for the Empire? Not the Empire, but the Rebel Army. So we have the sewers here. Looks like a whole nother dungeon, really. Ready for dungeon number 2. Okay, in chest number 2 on this floor, we obtain a longbow. We're here now. Just kind of went through the waterway there to the next chest, and now we're going to go up the stairs. Upstairs, we're going to be back at the first floor. It's going to look like this. We got, looks like a door and maybe an upstairs there at the end of the hall. So I'm going to fight my way there, and we'll see you there. Okay, and we're going to end up here now on the other side of this long tunnel thing, and we're going to run into some kind of a Dark Knight here. Let's talk to him. Oh, this is the Dark Knight. We were all under the impression that he left. But here he is. You're too late. The Dreadnaught is complete. I've been working behind the scenes to see the project through to completion. End your resistance. Kneel before your Emperor. It is the only alternative left to you. Consider what I've said. When the time comes, we will meet again. Huh, interesting character. Why didn't he just kill us? Like, wouldn't this be a perfect opportunity? Heh. Looks like you came all this way for nothing. See for yourselves. And we actually go and see for ourselves. And the airship is now complete. It is going from town to town, doing what the Dreadnaught does best, blowing things up. We absolutely 100% failed in our mission to stop it, or even slow it down. It's ready to go. This is terrible. This is the last thing that we wanted. There was a door back here. We want to check that out. Looks like we could still get into some battles here. Let's zip through them. Cool. And in this treasure chest we find the pass. The pass is supposed to be a ticket, supposedly, that helps us get aboard the Dreadnaught. Nobody will question us as long as we have this pass, right? A pass granting authorization to board the Dreadnaught. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, let's keep going. Wow, what a weird thing on the floor here. What does this do? Well, if you touch it, it's like a warp portal, and it'll warp you right out of the dungeon. Just like that. Now we can head back into Bafsk and talk to some more of the citizens. The Dreadnaught, we're doomed. They've finished the Dreadnaught. The world we know is over. You have to tell Princess Hilda that the Dreadnaught's been completed. She may know how to stop it. Why didn't she tell us that before I came here to stop it? Isn't that kind of weird? Isn't that kind of weird? Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. Bronze, 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 bronze. But we also have a silver cuirass here, and these actually aren't very expensive. I'm going to scoop up a couple of those. We want to keep one on Maria for sure, because it only has one magic interference, the lowest amount of magic interference possible, and it gives her defense. I don't keep any equipment on her because I want the magic interference to be as low as possible. And we can also give one to Furion here because I have a whole suit of mithril armor on my big guy here. Okay. Not too bad. Good find. Don't forget to check weapon and item shops. You never know what you're going to find in there, apparently. Let's check the weapon shop now. Nah, nothing really new here, huh? Nothing I haven't seen before, anyway. The Dreadnaught is headed for Poft. Maybe it's already too late. Yeah, I'm thinking it's pretty too late. You should talk to Sid. He might know what the Dreadnaught's weakness is. Well, yeah, that would make sense since he kind of considering he kind of built all the airships, right? Anyway, I'm gonna head to Poft, I think, wherever Sid is. Let's go talk to Sid and Hilda. And as you can see, once we get to Poft, you see these craters in the ground. The whole place has been completely destroyed. Some of the buildings have holes in the roofs and things like that. And they're all standing for the most part. If I wanted to use an inn for an example, I can still come and use an inn. 125 gil, goodness, you know, your inn is kind of in shambles. Oh well, I guess you could use the money to help rebuild it, right? So, just kind of wanted to show that. Also, they added kind of like this little darkness on the corners of the screen, and I don't know if they were trying to make it seem like it's smoky here or what the idea behind that was, but as you can see, if I zone out, it kind of goes away. Anyway, let's head into the bar and see if we could find Sid. That's who we want to talk to and talk about. Looks like all of his friends are gone too. Yeah, airship, that's great. Airships are powered by sunfire. I'm sure the Dreadnaught's no different. So in Final Fantasy 1, we used levistone, right? However, it seemed like it was a very rare thing. We had to go all the way through the ice cave and fight some evil eye in order to obtain even one levistone. Multiple NPCs throughout the game that we talk about the levistone and how they would like to have some. However, there's only one levistone in the whole game, and we keep it for ourselves to power the airship. In this Final Fantasy, it looks like we have something called the Sunfire, which we know next to nothing about. So let's learn that key term and ask Sid about it. Controlling Sunfire is a tricky business. Let the flames get too high. You got a runaway on your hands. The engine will blow sky high. Interesting. What you want to do is blow that thing's engine. Do that, and you can bring down the whole overgrown tub. Hopefully, I can learn how to read too. Sorry, it's pretty late for me right now too. That's normally why I say good night and stuff like that in my videos, because it's normally really late for me. I'm getting a little tired, a little hard to read anymore. So we know we want to have the Sunfire in order to destroy the Dreadnaught, but that's not really enough information, right? Well, what is the Sunfire? Where is the Sunfire? Let's head to Hilda and ask her about it and see if she can shine some light on what's going on. Okay, and here we are in Altair. Again, we have kind of the black on the corners of the screen. I want to say it's trying to have like a smoky effect, maybe. We have the craters in the ground, the craters in the roof of the buildings and things like that. That's a church. And I don't see anybody outside, so let's head inside to the Rebels' base, because the Empire still doesn't know that this is our base, right? Otherwise we'd be invaded. Let's talk to anybody we can find. Is the black on the corner of the screens, has that always been there? Or am I just now noticing it? I thought it was their attempt at making some kind of a smoky effect. But there's a man in Poft named Sid who just might know if the Dreadnaught has any weaknesses. Sid was the first person to ever build an airship, and the Dreadnaught's really nothing but a big airship, right? So Sid completely invented the airships as we know them in Final Fantasy 2, just like he did, or at least somebody by the same name as him did in Final Fantasy 1. Here's kind of a weird question. Is Sid perhaps some ageless guy, kind of maybe like Gilgamesh, who, I mean, maybe we think he's a different character in every Final Fantasy game, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's actually the same exact guy in every single Final Fantasy. That's a weird theory, right? The Dreadnaught attacked, but at least our hideout is still safe. We'll stay here and hold out until you return. Everybody who was outside is dead. That's horrible. If we don't destroy the Dreadnaught, the casualties will only mount. Prince Gordon's disappeared. I wonder where he could have gone. Well, hopefully he didn't get blown up by the Dreadnaught, right? Now we know that that's not true because I already spoiled you guys and told you that he's going to be very important. Please save our king. I'm scared. Altair wasn't spared the Dreadnaught's assault. Lucky for us, the hideout was unharmed. The townspeople have taken refuge here. Sorry, again, it's late. I'm having a hard time reading. Let's talk to everybody in here. The king is not well. Yeah, I know. He's dying. He's been dying. So we've lost Scott as well. Okay, we already know about all that. Let's ask him about nothing, because I don't think there's anything new. See, he's pretty sure that we did not, as he says here, we did not fall to the sword, but to the corrupt hearts of men. See, he's pretty sure that had it not been for the betrayal, we could have had a fighting chance. Anyway, nothing new, no dialogue new from him. Let's go talk to Hilda, however, because that, I think, is going to give us some new dialogue. Do we even stand a chance against the Dreadnaught? You see? It happened just as I said it would. Obviously, the task was more than you could handle. I think I called that guy a liar when I was here last time, but he did not lie at all. He's definitely telling the truth. The Dreadnaught blew stuff away. After all that, they finished the Dreadnaught anyway. Incidentally, I believe the king has something to tell you. Not really, I just spoke with him, and he just says the same thing. Many were wounded in the Dreadnaught's attack. The shock has even caused my father's condition to take a turn for the worse. I hate that my father has to see this. He knows his death is near. Is there nothing you can do, Minwu? All those who live must someday die. It is our fate. Still, it is my duty as a white wizard to ease the pain of those who suffer. I shall remain here and devote myself to the care of the wounded. I take my leave of you. The fate of the world rests on you, Firion. Waste no time in destroying the Dreadnaught. Minwu left the party. Okay, let's talk to Hilda again. My father's condition has improved a great deal thanks to Minwu. Okay, so why didn't he just heal the king to begin with? Let's ask her about the Dreadnaught real quick. Many lives were taken in the Dreadnaught's attack. How are we supposed to fight something so terrible? Ask her about the Sunfire. Sunfire is the crest of the kingdom of Kashuan. Its flames still burn on the ground floor of Kashuan Keep. Scott and Gordon have told me many stories concerning the flame, so she already knows all about the Sunfire. So she should know that the Sunfire is kind of what created the airships, or at least their engines, right? The finer points of the tale are not known to me. However, I seem to recall that the flame cannot be held in just any torch. Sid told us that we might be able to use Sunfire to destroy the Dreadnaught. Then there's no time to waste. You must depart for Kashuan Keep at once. If you hire Sid's airship, the journey should not take long. That leaves only one question. What can you use to bring the Sunfire back? What can we use indeed? Let's talk about the Sunfire for a moment, because it's kind of an important thing that we don't have a lot of details about, right? Oh, I keep forgetting this is Hilda's room and not the king's room, darn it. Alright, let's talk to the king real quick, and then we'll talk about the Sunfire. The king's illness goes far beyond the physical. There's little I can do. So that's kind of interesting that Minwu says that, right? Because the king, we know that the king was wounded in battle, so why, it is the physical. Why can't you just heal him? Let's talk to the king real quick. So many perished in the Dreadnaught's attack. Perhaps it would be best if we surrendered to the Empire. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. You can't mean that, sir. No one knows more about airships than Sid. He was such a fine knight once. Oh, how men change. Well, yeah, now he just kind of sits around at the bar drinking all day. Scott sealed the gates of Kashuan Keep to protect the Sunfire in the event that they were defeated in battle. You will need the goddess's bell to break the seal. Let's ask him about that. The whereabouts of the bell are known only to the Kashuan royal family. Yeah, but they told a lot of stories to Hilda, right? So let's maybe ask her about the bell. I've heard Scott and Gordon mention the bell. The gates of Kashuan Keep open only to the voice of a Kashuan or the ringing of that bell. The bell rests deep within a cave on the snowy plains. It will not be easy to retrieve. So it is your intention to enter the snow cavern? Very well. If only Gordon were here, there would be no need for you to risk such danger. But he isn't, so you must. There is nothing I can do but pray for your success. Joseph knows the snow plains like the back of his hand. You should seek his counsel. It's weird that she doesn't react to the ring. Okay, so let's talk about a few things really quick while I head up to the snowy plains and talk to Joseph. First, the Sunfire. So the Sunfire is some sort of like ever-burning flame that is, assuming, gifted to the people of Kashuan by something, or perhaps they found it. I think they actually built the entire kingdom of Kashuan around this Sunfire. Its purpose to the people of Kashuan is unknown, at least right now. I don't know what they really did with it or used it for, but we do know that Sid was able to talk to them and obtain some of it so that he can create and make airships. So Kashuan would probably have been the birthplace of airships, at least in Final Fantasy II. Sounds about right. Anyway, they talk about Gordon as if he's still alive. I'm assuming they didn't find his body, so they assume that he's still alive. That makes sense. And then we have the bell. What did we learn about the bell? The bell can open the door to Kashuan Keep, right? But why? It only opens to the sound of the royal family's voice or the bell. And the bell is, I don't know how they know this, but it's hidden within the snowy plains that are just north of us. And Joseph is the only one who knows about it. So would Joseph have some sort of connection to Kashuan or the Kashuan's, I hope I'm pronouncing things right, the Kashuan's royal family? And what about the sound that the bell makes? Does it just kind of sound like the way the royal family speaks? I don't know. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But yeah, let's keep playing next time. This is going to be the end of this episode. If you like this video, please give me a like. Please give me a thumbs up. And we will see you all again in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. You don't want to miss out. Anyway, I'm going to go straight to bed. I'm getting way too tired to be talking still. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much.